FRMMA Radio.
Hello there, welcome to this brand new edition of 5 Round MMA. My name is Alex Ramirez, alongside my co-host Guillermo Cita. Albert, please excuse my voice, I'm a little under the weather here. We're based in Southern California, so we got
Calm down, AJ Styles over here.
I know we get a week of rain. Cars break down, accidents on the freeway, and everybody gets sick. So, if you can excuse me.
It's funny how rain scares the crap out of Californians, but earthquakes were kind of like, we had like 2 good earthquakes,
Yeah.
and I think I was like, oh, that was a good one. That was my response to an earthquake.
The breaking stories on the news was the rain, the flooding. It's funny how everybody complains about rain and snow, and yet when it comes, because, you know, we've had this drought, no one's prepared. Everybody's flooding.
No.
It's like we had all this time to prepare for...
Freeways are horrible.
Yeah, for all this rain.
It's because I didn't believe in El Nino, so I wasn't prepared for nothing.
He was late. So,
If anything, I should put gallons of water out there so I can collect some water since there's such a water shortage right
yeah,
now.
no, really. So,
Wait, before we get to the show,
okay.
I
More
didn't want to. No, I wanted to follow up on your New Year's resolution. How's the meal prepping going?
Horrible.
Horrible.
Yeah, but
I'm
I'm eating healthy, but that's not prepping. So,
I'm eating healthy, so...
No, but where are you at in your weight?
I didn't weigh myself. That's what I forgot to do. But
give it a couple
you know what? I went to Knott's Berry Farm. I got water. I got a salad. You know, but anytime I go eat out, I always get a salad. I get water. I don't drink soda. I do drink alcohol every once in a while, but I mean, I cut
the sugar
back.
out, you'll be all right. What about you? What was your resolution?
It was not to be lazy and sushi master. So I bought my little sushi kit thing.
Yeah.
So that's as far as I went. And I'm being
Baby steps.
and I feel like I'm being a little bit less lazy,
Okay.
but I'm still pretty lazy.
Your beard tells me everything. So too much laziness.
All right, so before we get started, let's pay the bills here. I want to thank all of our sponsors. So
Or else I
first,
can get my sushi kit.
first with Rocky Green eco-friendly cleaning products, the 5 Rounds clothing line. They got awesome new winter gear, a bunch of fleece jackets and training gear. If you check them out on
Which Alex needs to purchase so he doesn't get sick.
yeah, I know. And of course, the RMA Foundation for Redemption Martial Arts. So Guillermo, see, start the clock for me, yeah.
Got it.
So round number 1, biggest news out this week was the UFC 197 is going to be claimed to be headlined by title versus title, Rafael Dos Anjos versus Conor McGregor. I think it's going to be it's going to be the lightweight title, not title versus title.
Imagine, come down to the
And Holly Holm versus Miesha Tate. Again, these are all reports as of right now, as of this recording. It hasn't been confirmed by the UFC, but pretty much everybody and their mom has said, yeah, it's going to happen. When I first heard it, I was kind of skeptical because Bleacher Report first broke it, and Bleacher Report's really good for making lists, you know, top 5, blah, 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 blah. So whenever they do a report, I think, nah, it's not. But then it kind of picked up steam, and it's on all the major news outlets. So, guys, what are your guys' thoughts about this Supercard UFC 197?
For Dana White, it's genius because I mean, like right now these guys are on fire. Specifically, Conor McGregor and Rafael Dos Anjos, Holly Holm. The other rumor, I think she's on fire too. You know, she's making headlines left and right. Every time you see, she's like, oh, she's at the Staples Center. Oh, she's at this fight. I mean, like right now, why not take advantage of that? I think for overall, Conor and Rafael Dos Anjos, like I said, that 155, I think, is stacked. So for Conor McGregor, it's a perfect opportunity right now that he's on fire to get that title shot because later on, I don't think, like I said, it's too tough of a division for him.
Albert.
I really think this UFC 197 bout is just a setup for UFC 200.
Okay.
I think they're just trying to make sure that they get everything lined up so they can probably put together one of the biggest, if not the biggest UFC event they've had in since UFC 100?
Sure.
But for the most part, when it comes to rumors and stuff like that, when Fox Sports 1, which is supposed to be like the dedicated channel for UFC, all UFC, I mean, they have all their analysts, exclusive. When you hear from that Fox Sports 1 is the one also breaking this rumor, it's almost set on stone. I think Dana White just likes to have everything written on paper first, and the signatures and the day and whatnot, and then he announces it. But I'm pretty sure it's going to happen.
So pretty much right now the contracts are out, right?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. There's a verbal agreement. They're just waiting for everyone to sign it and send it back.
The thing is, Dana White always wants everything like to line up perfectly. Imagine if Rafael Dos Anjos wins this, how much more of a dent that would leave for UFC 200. Or what if one of these fighters get injured? He's shaking and no, but I mean, like, what if someone gets knocked? Let's say Holly Holm or Miesha Tate go into a real big war and they're not able to
broken foot.
Yeah, let's say they're not able to participate in UFC 200, and what you really want is Conor McGregor and Holly Holm. That's who you really want to UFC 200.
Yeah, that's what you really want. But I made a list of backups and potential UFC 200 matchups. I know that if I saw it, I know they saw it.
We'll save
we will save for the next round.
For the second round.
I'm just putting that out there.
So I guess the announcement was kind of where everybody anticipated this. Maybe Conor McGregor wasn't going to fight the UFC 200, but UFC 197. I mean, there's a report last week where Luke Rockhold said that I don't want to be on UFC 198 or 199. I want to be on UFC 200. So because that's be the big money maker. So it's kind of almost timing. You said right because we're in March. And UFC 197 is supposed to take place in March, and then UFC 200 is scheduled for July, correct?
Yes.
So it's what, a 3-month layoff between?
March, April, May, June, July, almost 4 months.
Yeah.
Which is perfect for anybody to have a training camp in 4 months.
Well, especially whoever's fighting in this February card. I mean, that would line up perfectly. That would be 5 months from
the heavyweights, right?
UFC 200.
So we're kind of jumping ahead a little to UFC 200. So Dos Anjos versus McGregor, do you see kind of a back and forth trash talk? I mean, Dos Anjos isn't really much of a trash talking type of guy.
Actually, against Cerrone, Dos Anjos was actually letting the smack talk out. If you watch some of the embedded and stuff like that, it's funny because I feel like a lot of the Brazilian fighters kind of do that. They it doesn't seem like they're talking smack, but listen to what they're saying. They're talking smack. Verdum does it all the time, and it's funny because Verdum comes across as a great guy, a good sportsmanship, but listen to what he's saying. He's talking smack. These Brazilians like to hide their smack talk.
The most I've ever seen Anderson Silva mad was against Damian Maia. I don't know if you guys remember
just because he said that he was going to take his limb or something.
No, it's like I'm going to break one of the spider's 8 legs or something, right?
Yeah, and then it was, you don't think Damian Maia is a smack talker either, but when they say something, it really rubs people the wrong way. And I think Conor McGregor will say something to kind of get Dos Anjos started, and he'll say a little thing here and there, and Conor McGregor is gonna run with it, just like Anderson Silva did.
Even that whole Vitor Belfort thing, that came out to me. That came out of left field. I was like, whoa, wait a second, where's this beef come from?
So we should pretty much expect the same from Conor McGregor, right?
Yeah.
And then I think Miesha Tate will be the same. A little smack talk here and there, but it should be all right though.
Yeah. She'll probably have to push that storyline.
So that's it for round number 1. Round number 2, we're talking about UFC 200 and what could be possibly hold in store from now that all the guys are kind of booked up already. So stick around, guys. All right, welcome back. Time for round number 2. So now with all these kind of with Conor McGregor and Holly Holm booked for UFC 197, which is only a few months away from UFC 200, all the reports were, we want McGregor versus Frankie Edgar at UFC 200, or maybe McGregor versus Dos Anjos at 200, Ronda Rousey versus Holly Holm at 200. So they're all booked now. So what can the UFC be possibly holding in store for UFC 200? I mean, you got February, you got the heavyweight championship, right? Only thing I could think of is maybe John Jones and DC. But Guillermo, you're saying reports that are kind of like in April, right?
I don't know if you guys saw, but on Instagram, John Jones kind of tweeted like a subliminal message or something like that, but it said for April. That's the rumor and his little speculation on his Instagram and little side notes. So it's looking for April, but I mean, like that to me, seeing that rematch, I'm not as excited. I mean, I already saw the first one. To me, it seemed Albert's going to disagree, but I thought it was very one-sided. I think there's better potential matchups that everybody gets excited for UFC 200. And if you look from example of UFC 100, it's the heavyweights that sell. The heavyweights that bring in all the fireworks. So it lines up perfectly for Cain Velasquez to face my boy Stipe Miocic.
Okay, Cain Velasquez has a beat for Verdum first, so
yeah, I'm telling you who the winner is going to be.
First off, I'll start. I'll just get it. I'll get the big horse out of the way.
Okay.
Which is Nick Diaz. People forget that he has a hearing coming up. His suspension might be lifted by the time UFC 200 is going around, and then there you go, the big Nick Diaz versus Robbie Lawler that all you fanboys want to see. But I could care less about it. But I'm pretty sure that's in the works. I'm pretty sure they're crossing their fingers, make sure the suspension's lifted, and that's gonna be one of the key matchups. Another one that you guys are missing, and I can't believe, is Anderson Silva will fight against Michael Bisping. And I'm pretty sure if Anderson Silva shows up, defeats Michael Bisping the way Anderson Silva was defeating opponents, there you go, the matchup against Luke Rockhold for UFC 200. We already know that Luke Rockhold's waiting for 200, and Anderson Silva will make a likely choice.
Well, to me, the question is,
And I'm not done yet.
Yeah,
Okay.
but you really think every match is going to be for the championship?
It has to be.
It
It has to be.
It's UFC 200.
I think there might be even 3 title thing.
Yeah, and I'll keep at it.
Title belts on this
we
card.
we have another one, which is TJ Dillashaw versus Dominick Cruz. Regardless of who
Happening next
wins,
weekend.
no matter who wins, Uriah Faber can smack talk his way into UFC 200 against any of these two opponents.
Okay.
Obviously, if TJ wins, it's the better story. But if Dominick Cruz wins, come on, everybody knows that
They're better rivals.
Yeah, that they could sell that pay-per-view bout.
So-
So there you go. These are the safeties I like to call them.
So
because I think with this card, I think it's a sellout.
So you're leaving out Mighty Mouse. No,
Yeah, I was
no
gonna say.
flat-
I was like, I don't see no.
Someone has to headline UFC 99, right? That's why I didn't.
199.
Yeah, that's why I didn't say Mighty Mouse. So someone has to do it,
But
and
see-
the strawweight too. Someone has to do it. UFC
Joanna
199.
Jędrzejczyk, yeah.
Yeah, but and then the matchups that obviously I think are more that face value is that Conor McGregor wins, right? And they're hoping he wins, and then you get the matchup between either him or Frankie Edgar and or the rematch with Jose Aldo. Same thing with Holly Holmes. You get the rematch with what do you call it? I can't remember her name. Ronda Rousey. So I think yeah. But see, but you have the backup. So that's what I'm trying to say. If you have Silva versus Rockhold, you got TJ Dillashaw or Dominick Cruz versus Uriah Faber, and then you got Nick Diaz versus potentially Robbie Lawler. I think that alone sells UFC 200. And then I also have some very strict. GSP is rumored to come back UFC 200. So you still have him, and then you could potentially push. Let's say none of this works out. You could potentially push John Jones and Daniel Cormier to UFC 200 with GSP in there too, and that's a sellout right there.
It sounds like you're going in a big loop. I mean, like
No.
usually this is how it works.
Loop. This is correct.
I mean, like, this is all nice and dandy on paper, but I mean, like, usually what you see is 2 title bouts in the card, and then you have some
3.
up and coming. Okay, so you get 3. How many are usually in the main card? How many fights?
5.
So who are you going to do the other 2 if you only have 3 for the
Cowboy
bout?
Cerrone versus Benson Henderson at their new weight class of 170. There you go, Guillermo. You want me to keep going?
I mean, 'cause honestly,
if you want me to do if you want me to do what's his name's job right now, I'll
Joe
do
Silva.
it. Yeah, if you want me to step up.
We've seen the pattern of them having now 2 title bouts in every pay-per-view bout. Right?
Yeah,
Pretty much
that
sits
seems
down.
to be a little
and
trend.
If you're gonna do 200,
It has to be
it has to be
3.
3.
Yeah, I mean,
Or 2, and then a really big like.
But and then
non-title
people
bout.
forget you're gonna have 3 more events, which that's why you gotta save the heavyweights. Hopefully that UFC 199 and 198, it's gonna be the other weight classes I think that are gonna have to step up and sell those pay-per-views and keep these actual lighter weights for the main 200.
If you want shock value, it's Stipe Miocic versus Alistair Overeem at UFC 200. I mean, both of them really didn't take a lot of damage. I don't know what you don't see, but if you look at UFC 100, it's Brock Lesnar versus what's his name? I already forgot his name.
Frank Mir.
Frank Mir. That pretty much sold UFC 100.
Well,
I don't know.
Brock Lesnar did,
But okay, before we end this round, if Cain Velasquez win, are you gonna put all your chips in his basket to last all the way to UFC 200? No, I'm not. So that's why I'm going with the safer routes here.
But it gives him more time to healthier instead of waiting for it to.
We'll see how this all
He still has
plays
the
out.
Facebook room coming up.
Yeah. So stick around. We got round number 3 coming up. Talk about the one man who's probably everybody's kind of feeling for, Frankie Edgar. So stick around, guys. Welcome back. Time for round number 3. After it was announced about the strong rumors of UFC 197, Conor McGregor versus Rafael dos Anjos, a lot of people went immediately to what about Frankie Edgar? A lot of memes are coming out like the poor guy.
I bet you guys are happy.
Actually, no, I'm not. Like I would want to see Frankie Edgar.
I told you the answer has been the answer of the UFC this whole entire time.
So, Guillermo, you're the biggest Frank Edgar fan here. When you heard about this Dos Anjos versus McGregor, what were your thoughts?
I thought it was a little disrespectful for Frankie Edgar. What does this guy have to do to get a title shot? I mean, like, yeah, he lost to Jose Aldo, and look at everything he's done in that featherweight division. I mean, like, even taking that BJ Penn, to me, it felt like, hey, Frank, we don't have nothing for you. How about this BJ Penn? Be a company guy.
Yeah.
Help us out. Sell this card for us. This 3rd fight with BJ Penn. And then after that, give Uriah Faber's right there. You know, that's a money fight. It really wasn't.
The Philippines.
It's like that Conor, he's done everything he needed to do for the company, and he's proven it in the ring. He took away Conor, what was it, Cub Swanson? If he would have beat Frankie Edgar, he would have got the title shot. It was the other way around. Frankie Edgar wins. It's like, Frankie, here's Uriah Faber.
Yeah.
It's like, it's so disrespectful, and it's just not that weight class. It's every weight class. Albert brought it up. He's grinding my gear.
Fired you up.
Freaking Nick Diaz coming off suspension and now getting a title shot against Robbie Lawler. Why have the rankings?
That's Albert's
Then
theory.
the rankings don't make any sense. That's not fair for all these fighters. If I was a fighter, I'd be like, Dana White, you know, what's the point? If my name doesn't sell,
That's the point.
Money.
and then why do I put my life at risk every time I enter the cage if I'm not gonna get respected the way I deserve?
So, hypothetical. Will Frankie Edgar fight for a title in 2016?
Maybe.
Maybe.
It's 50-50. And you know what's sad? It's all up to Conor McGregor.
Wow.
And I'll tell you this.
True. That's not true.
It is true.
That's not true.
If he wins against Dos Anjos, his next opponent might be Frankie Edgar. If he loses to Dos Anjos, his opponent might be against Frankie Edgar. I really do think that depending on how that bout goes, depends if Frankie Edgar gets an immediate title shot. I think if Conor McGregor wins, you might see Frankie Edgar versus Jose Aldo instead. I really do think.
What?
I really do think so.
Look, this is what's gonna happen. Frankie Edgar will get a title shot in 2016, whether Conor McGregor is the champion or he vacates the championship. If I'm Frankie Edgar, I'd wait. I've been accompanying man this whole entire time. I wait. You know, I'm the number one contender. No matter what the next fight is at featherweight for the championship, I'm in it. And if Conor McGregor vacates, Jose Aldo versus Frankie Edgar, I'd take it.
Yeah.
And here's the sad part too. If Conor McGregor wins, I think Anthony Pettis if Anthony Pettis wins his bout, Conor McGregor wins his bout, that makes more sense to me to have these two guys battle out because on paper, I'm telling you,
it's more money.
It's more money.
Yeah.
And that's why it's not good for Frankie Edgar. Frankie Edgar's best hope is for Conor to lose, drop back down to 145, and guess what? You have to face Frankie Edgar.
Yeah.
At this point, you know, if you look at what happened to Phil Davis, if you're talking about how fighters get disgruntled and start looking elsewhere, if I'm Frankie Edgar and my fight is coming, I'm at a point where I might be a free agent. This is where I might be looking towards Bellator because, come on, what did Phil Davis have to do? He beat everybody he needed to beat to get a title shot and never got it. It doesn't matter if you're a money maker. If you're talking about fair competitive, these guys are the top of the line. Why be ranked number one in your weight class and not be able to get a title shot?
Keep getting skipped, right?
Yeah, especially Yoel Romero with your Anderson Silva rumored scenario.
Again, you gotta look at the money, son. Anderson Silva, Yoel Romero. Who are people gonna pay and watch? It's Anderson Silva.
Yeah, but what the fair thing is, it's Yoel Romero versus Luke Rockhold and Anderson Silva versus Jacare. That makes more sense to me.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
He won't fight Jacare. We know that he won't fight Jacare, guys. Come on now.
So it looks like you said, Frankie Edgar's at the mercy of Conor McGregor, right? If Conor
and
McGregor, worst case scenario for Frankie Edgar, Conor McGregor is victorious at UFC 107, right?
And you know what? We always talk about boxing, how these guys are able to call their own shots. It's starting to seem that way more in the UFC.
Well, just Conor McGregor.
It's all the numbers, bro.
And supposedly they were gonna make it more. We're gonna have a ranking system, and we're gonna have title number one contender fights, and it's really starting to seem more and more like boxing, which it's kind of disrespectful to some of these fighters.
But see, Guillermo must have some amnesia because I said it from the very beginning when they made this ranking system, and then didn't go off of it right off the bat. They didn't go for the number one guy. They picked the number 5th guy.
Yeah.
A lot of times the 3rd guy. Then I was like, what's the point of the ranking system? They did it from the get go. So to me, we complained about the ranking system from the very beginning because they didn't even follow it from the very beginning. So down the road, what does it matter now that if they follow it or not?
It's almost like the Hall of Fame rankings for the MLB. People like Ken Virginia didn't get 100%. He got 97.3 or whatever. Who the 7 guys didn't vote for him? So it's kind of like that. These BD guys just vote for him just to vote for it. This rankings means nothing. So that's it for round number 3. Stick around for round number 4. Talk about race in the UFC. And as Floyd Mayweather said, is UFC a little bit of racism in there. So stick around, guys. Thank you for sticking around that short little break. So time for round number 4. Floyd Mayweather came out this week and said something about the UFC, how it's racism or racist. That's why their top stars are all white. He's pointing to Ronda Rousey. I always take a shot at Conor McGregor for the white Irishman. That's why he's so popular. You never see a fighter of color be at the top. So we're going to drop into this. Is there some sort of truth to what Floyd Mayweather says?
Honestly, what Floyd Mayweather says is just trying to stay relevant, to be honest. I think ever since the Ronda Rousey and him little beef ended because Ronda Rousey's lost, and now Floyd Mayweather is kind of unofficially retired. I think he's just trying to stay relevant in the news because really, what else can he sell right now? And just that beef with Conor McGregor, Conor McGregor is not going to stay quiet. So I think that it was all over the media, all over the news, and again, Floyd Mayweather's name big and bold. So
Yeah.
I think it's just a little plan.
I mean, it is kind of hard to point out to the Dana White's crew, Ronda Rousey,
even Sage Northcutt's in
Sage
there.
Northcutt, Paige Van Zandt, Conor, where they are, the blonde hair, blue eye looking, people. So it's not. I don't think that's a coincidence there. But I mean, for say the UFC only pushes Anglo Caucasian fighters, it's kind of weird because you got John Jones, Cain Velasquez, Anderson Silva for so many years was on top. I mean, I think it's not
Mighty Mouse.
Mighty Mouse is the
Come on,
champion.
man,
I mean,
give him some credit.
They don't push him, but like he's on there.
But he's there.
Yeah,
I think,
Anthony Pettis was a big star for them.
I think he's getting confused. Obviously, we know who looks better in a poster. Sometimes, I mean, but I'm saying beauty wise is what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, I think UFC just really does have to put the best out there. I mean, for the longest we said Mighty Mouse can't sell, right? It doesn't mean they like they strip him the title or don't give him any actual
He still
fights.
made pay-per-views.
Exactly. So if we were to see something where like John Jones wasn't the headliner for certain pay-per-views, come on, you have to call it what it is. Cause it's like, because it's like, come on, dude, this guy's the biggest star you got, and you're not gonna put him
best fighter. In
the main event. So, but the fact that they're not even doing that, it's different if Dana White has favorites.
Yeah.
And then UFC having multiple champions of multiple race and color and whatever.
And then if you look at it, the biggest athletes, I know it has a little bit nothing to do with the UFC, but if you look at the best athletes in the UFC, at one point when you can bring any advertisement, look at the advertisement Anderson Silva had, Nike, Lyoto Machida, Nike,
Head and Shoulders,
John Jones, Nike, and
Gatorade.
and you're bringing the second brand, Mighty Mouse had Xbox. I mean, like these guys were heavily sponsored fighters. Something like there what in. I mean, like it. It
makes you kind of wonder what kind of.
And then keep in mind that they're getting different fighters from different areas because they're trying to do a global expansion as well. So even that alone shows that it's not a race. I mean, they're trying to keep Mark Hunt for the longest because they can't find another guy from New Zealand. You know what I'm saying?
Sexy Yama,
he can't. They can't let him go because
They
Japanese.
When they go to Japan,
But when you brought up the sponsorship, I did want to say something before I forget it. Is the uniforms? I was watching some best of UFC. Since January came out, whatever. Best of UFC, the best of WEC. It's so much better with the uniform than I lie to you. I was looking at it. It looked like it was amateur hour with all the sponsors and you had one that said like bigshoe.com or
it was a condom depot.com.
Yeah, so
that was a big one. Remember?
It really if you just look at it visually, it did look very amateur.
Yeah.
And I think with these new jerseys, like them or hate them, at least it looks like a professional level type of sport.
And then if you look at punishment wise, so now we talked about the advertising. Punishment wise, I mean, like they've been pretty fair down the line, except for the champions. They've been a little bit more lenient. A lot John Jones. But if you look at it, Donald Cerrone just got fined just for putting something on his shorts.
Yeah.
And Nick Diaz has been fined. So I mean, they've been pretty consistent in terms of. I mean, there has been questionable consequences, but I mean, for the most part, they've been kind of like hitting everybody.
Yeah.
If you're not following our rules, we're gonna get you some way, somehow.
Yeah, I think, like you said, Floyd Mayweather is kind of reaching grasping at straws here. But I mean, obviously, racism plays into everything we do in this country. It's a sad fact. But I think for the UFC to be that blatant, it's not. No.
The real question is now everybody really wants to see Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather. No. That would be awesome to watch. I would watch a boxing exhibition of those two guys. That would be great.
This is Rocky. No exhibition here.
I'll see either way. MMA, boxing, whatever.
Well, if Floyd Mayweather goes to MMA, he stands no chance.
Oh, obviously.
So if Conor goes to boxing, I would like to see that.
All right, so stick around. We got one more round coming up. We're talking about the return of Dominick Cruz. So stick around, everybody. All right, time for the fifth and final round. This weekend's going to come up the return of the only bantamweight champion the UFC's ever known, the true champion, Dominick Cruz, the Dominator.
Can't you tell a Dominator fan when you see
I've
one?
always been a Dominator fan since the WEC days.
Can't you tell the hair too?
The hair too. So he's going to take on, is it bitter rival? Not bitter rival. It's almost been like he's been making fun of TJ Dillashaw the whole time. This guy stole my style.
He's an alpha male killer, so that kind of plays into it, even though TJ Dillashaw is not part of alpha male anymore.
So the return of TJ, Dominick Cruz.
Dominick Cruz. I saw like a sit down interview with him and TJ. he tore TJ apart in the interview. I was like, man, and I'm not a Dominick Cruz fan. Keep that in mind. I am not
He's
a
always
Dominick
gonna,
Cruz
but like,
fan.
you talk about how
He tore
the Brazilians
him down.
talk crap. He's the same way, huh?
No, yeah, Dominick Cruz tore him up. I felt sorry for TJ. I felt like jumping in there like, hey, bro, dog, don't talk to him like that, bro. Like, that's kind of messed up. But no, dude, Dominick Cruz is in TJ Dillashaw's head. I mean, TJ Dillashaw looked clearly annoyed, and you get somebody when it comes down to all right then, let's see, let's throw it down. Let's throw it down. And it's funny because he was trying to do that, and Dominick Cruz was like, bro, we're doing an interview. Why would I fight you? They were supposed to be talking.
So basically,
why don't you talk?
You have Dominick Cruz who's 20-1 against TJ Dillashaw, 12-2. I mean, Cruz hasn't fought one time in the past 4 years, I think.
Yeah.
But this is people saying that TJ Dillashaw mastered Dominick Cruz's fighting style. So my question to you guys, or Guillermo, are we going to see the same Dominick Cruz, or is it maybe something different?
No, you know what? That's a hard question because he's been gone. I mean, like, he had that fight in 2014, but other than that, I mean, like, it's very hard to say because we haven't seen. Realistically kind of forgot his style is. I know he moves a lot, his stances, and
unorthodox, switches stances a lot.
But I mean, like, if that was successful, I don't see why he would go away from that. And then to go back to Albert about how he's being TJ Dillashaw, it's kind of unfair when you're talking about, because Dominick Cruz is very, very well spoken. If you watch him on all these analyst shows and stuff like that, he has practice, so that's not even fair because he can articulate himself intelligently and throw little snippets here and there to TJ Dillashaw where maybe he's not prepared for a response compared to his experience.
So this is the first real test for Dillashaw. Obviously, he has Renan Barão's number.
Second real test.
That could be like just a Remy, a fluke, or maybe he just mastered Renan Barão.
It's the whole DC thing. You have to be the guy that never lost the belt, and it was just kind of stripped away from him to really be considered the true champion. Conor McGregor, I do the same thing with Jose Aldo, and it's true. I mean, I think there will always be an asterisk next to his championship reign if he did not face Dominick Cruz. As a matter of fact, TJ should be happy that Dominick Cruz is able to do this bout because, like I told you, he would always have that asterisk right next to his belt. But going back to his fighting style too, TJ Dillashaw mastered it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. He looked very Dominick Cruz against Renan Barão. And at the same time, though, why would Dominick Cruz switch it up if no one has solved this puzzle? Why change up the puzzle, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think the worst thing Dominick Cruz can do is approach this fight in a different way. If he does that, I think he's going to be in a world of trouble.
Well, the thing is, they compare TJ. Well, you say TJ Dillashaw was very Dominick Cruz-like, but I don't think I didn't see any Dominick Cruz.
As far as the way he was change his stance, the awkward movement, when to throw the leg kick, when to throw the punch.
But to me, it's like when Dominick Cruz does that, and I seen the thing is, our viewers, you guys don't see these guys when they're actually fighting. These guys are all like, "Oh, Dominick Cruz is doing this and this." When TJ Dillashaw does it, "Oh, look, he's showboating. He thinks he's cocky." Blah blah blah. Yeah, you guys say that all the time about TJ.
I never said that.
But the thing is,
looking at the fights we had, it wasn't for me. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, it was. Come on, you guys were the worst TJ Dillashaw fanboys until now. So,
no, I've never been a fanboy.
I was never a TJ Dillashaw fan.
That's my point. So you guys aren't fans, so you guys were clowning on him.
Yeah, but I'm also not a Dominick Cruz fan either.
But my point is that I don't think it necessarily is resembling Dominick Cruz. I think he's resembling what Dwayne Ludwig has shown him. So
yeah.
And you're talking about striking, trying to switch it up. So I think, and overall, that's kind of what he's emulating, not Dominic Cruz.
Take a little bit of here and there.
Yeah,
make it your own.
But with that said, I am going to go for TJ Dillashaw just because I'm all for the story.
You want to see
the
Faber versus
storyline
Dillashaw.
that's so sexy right now is Uriah Faber versus TJ Dillashaw.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason I'm going for TJ. Not that matter of fact, I really do, like, if you would talk to me nothing but numbers, this and that, I give it to Dominick Cruz all the time. Hands down, I will always give it to Dominick Cruz. But I'm going for TJ because I want to see that storyline matchup.
And that's the only storyline in that weight class.
UFC Fight Night 81 Dillashaw versus Cruz and take place January 17th at TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. Also on the card, Anthony Pettis versus Eddie Alvarez, Travis Browning. You think Ronda Rousey's going to be in the crowd for this?
Yes.
Yeah, she'll be in the crowd. Maybe in his corner, maybe?
No.
He's going to get some material.
Hopefully she's still wearing her Star Wars gear.
So we'll see that. That's January 17th, so we'll see how that goes out. Until then, make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at FiveRoundMMA. Like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on iTunes, YouTube, and Podomatic. And please visit please visit FiveRoundMMA.com. And hey, while you guys are on the internet, why don't you check us out at FightBookMMA.com under the podcast page. And when you're on FightBookMMA.com, vote for us for fan favorite podcast of the year. I believe voting closes January 17th. I believe it's updated. So go to FightBookMMA.com and vote for 5 Round MMA as a fan favorite podcast. And a big thank you to Rockin' Green Eco-Friendly Cleaning Products, the 5 Rounds clothing line, and of course Redemption Martial Arts. Rise up against bullying.
Alex, I like your focus and your composure. He was trying to distract me with the Bullet Club symbol.
I know. I marked out this week, guys. Bullet Club coming.
Life. Oh yeah, the cream of the crop.